Your favorite activity right here. She's almost up where that airplane is.
We're making the house looks. This thing looks fancy.
Is handing me the last siding board.
Shaking your ladder.
The last board. Last board. Touch-ups, touch-ups. Caulk, touch-ups. Gutters. Metal trim piece. Otherwise done. Now we're gonna go and take a little time at the coast. Clarky, he has your water. This friend has a different voice and keeps its head down. Here comes the wave. Is it gonna get you? Where's she at? There. Way up here, aren't we?
Yeah.
So many kelp corpses. I haven't seen so many of them before, at least not on this beach. Firewood of the season. Well, the weather says it's supposed to be raining any moment now. Casey is finishing up some paint here, so obviously we don't really believe that it's about to rain, since that could cause a little bit of rain, but it should dry out fairly fast. The paint's doing okay, and this will enable us to move this scaffold one section down, and then we'll wait on any more painting at that point. She's gonna go and touch up the blue on this roof over here up at that top gable where we finished out the battens. I just got some caulk on those a little while ago. Basically, this is, you know, our last day for a little while with some really good weather, or at least acceptable weather, or any weather we can be doing this at all. So we're just trying to finish up some of these things and then be able to move the scaffold again, maybe get up one more sheet of soffit, and then after that it'll just be one more full height move of the platform, and we should be able to finish out the upper part of the house entirely. It's a dark, stormy day, and I'm in the house, and there is a lot that needs organized and cleaned before I can really even get into going back to working on the interior trades. Whether it's the remnants of a fight with styrofoam, shields and swords between a little boy and his uncle. You can see debris, little boy's fort, all kinds of supplies. Some of it is related to what's about to be worked on. Some of it is what I should have been working on a long time ago and just haven't got around to. Some of it is supplies that are all done and we won't use any more of on the house. And some of it is returns that they may or may not accept at this point, odds and ends, parts that still have to be used, and posts that may or may not end up used just outside this door. Some of it is still probably months away from being used. Or material that just may be looking for the right job to make use of. While what we have out there has dwindled and we no longer have anything stood up and in the way of that nice workspace or parking spot down there, there's still leftover decking, there's still decking to be done, and there's still a whole bunch of boards that I don't know whether I'm selling, not the railroad ties, but what's underneath that tarp, or whether I'm keeping it. Throughout the house, we have stuff everywhere. Pieces that still have to be used, like for the roof out here. Window screens that are in windows that we may open up still and go in and out. Boards that are just here because they never got moved. Parts and pieces of gutters that are about to be used, hopefully, very soon. Some of what's here requires a decision, like, do I cut that thing up more ways than one to make it fit the space we have? Or do we alter the space we have to fit that thing, that shower pan? Or do I not use it at all? Beams that I thought we would use that we didn't and may have a use for somewhere else. Supplies for what's left to be done outside on the scaffold, just outside that window. Some materials that have sat here legitimately since the roof was first put on, and I can finally put them someplace else. Some things are small steps, but nevertheless, steps that have been sitting and waiting and waiting. It's dark in here, up in the attic. So you can't see it, but I can. Thank goodness. Our only roof penetration? Perfect. No drips, no anything. And it's been raining out there. Boy, howdy, has it ever been. Who can tell me what that sound is? Now that we're all nice and clean in here, I gotta make it messy again. I gotta get the holes drilled for the ventilation from the soffit on the outside of the roof all the way up to the ridge beam. So one of the first things I did was I made myself a little marking jig, I guess you'd call it, just to be able to mark off exactly where I want these holes. There's 3 in each of the bays. I could have done a 4 pattern, but it didn't really gain me very much as far as the reduced number of bracing boards, the blocking that I had to drill through. And so I just went ahead and did 3. So I just took a chunk of this, made sure it was dimensionally the same, split the difference on the height of the board. Could have gone higher up, but just chose to make it right through the middle, and then marked so that if I plop it on the left side, it should come out always being the same, provided of course these are an even 22.5-inch spacing. So then I'm just gonna run my line down, mark up, and that's all there is to it. Now I can center my drill bit in my hole saw right on that cross line on each of those 3. These 2 boards are for the last and the first board crossing over the windows. I wanted to make sure I could jam appropriate insulation up into there, so I have to have the insulation first, and that's why they're not up yet. But they're just gonna sit right up into this, triangular space, and then go across and be a nailing surface for the ceiling, just same as that is. And, obviously if I'm at that stage, I'll basically wait until either insulation is done and then put that up, or, take a picture so that the inspector can see. They're gonna wanna know that corner and that corner are properly filled. Oh, here he comes. Go around again, quick, run, run, run. So right now I'm working on the stairway blocking, and essentially what you're looking at is you need to have it like 36 or 38 inches. I think that's the range for your handrail. And so I've set it at 37, knowing that I will get some increase in height coming up off of the floor. But even though we are taller, we want to make sure that safety related items, not our countertops, those are going to be the height we want them. But safety related items, are solidly in the middle or on the lower end of the code for people who are in the house who are shorter. Our kids, visitors, all that. And so I marked off, nosing. It's the nosing that you're gonna do. So I used the nosings that matched up to the posts. So like right here was one. I marked off that 37 inches going down, and then I just basically, I didn't want to bother go getting the snap line and someone to help me hold it. So I just marked off using the level what that line was coming up, and it runs right through here. And you'll notice that 2 things. So first, I used really big boards here, and that's just whatever might be going on here. I want to make sure that we know we're covered, and I don't have to even pull out a document to reference. And second, this one just goes flat versus following the line. This is actually the line right here, and that's because when we're coming up here, I'm gonna have it return into the wall. And I don't want that to be a sharp point that would catch on things, or just have it hanging out like this, which is fairly common on cheaper installations. And so we're gonna have it come up, and then it's gonna come over flat and then return into the wall, so that when you're starting, you're on the flat, right? You wanna be able to hold on to that, or grab hold, start your hand hold before it's coming down the wall, and not have it be at a weird height relative to the floor right up here at the beginning. And so that's why this one is flat. And I just kind of split that difference, and that it should land somewhere in here is my thought. So all we're doing on these, I'm just cutting these to the angle, essentially of the stairs. 37 degrees is what seems to be just about perfect. And I believe the stairway angle is like 36 and a half, something in there. So other than that, all you have to do if you have that line marked off onto your studs is just take your tape measure so that you know how long you're cutting. Have your angle set correctly on your saw, put the tape measure on, have it follow the line, and so this next one will be 17 3/4. Very simple. Other than that, pretty easy installation. I'm just centering these. Again, this is a smaller board now that we're further away. You know, I know there's some variability here. This is probably not going to get used, but I'm putting it on just in case. And the way that I would say to do that is on the top. I don't mind running one nail in through the angle. I do prefer, this is obviously the strongest choice, to run through the next board. That's your strongest connection. The other thing you can do, and I have been doing, is you can come around and put one in on the back at a slight angle, just maybe not quite that extreme, like that. And that's also going to give your blocking, you know, it's just going to be a solid connection. Look at all the beautiful fall colors.
Like that beast. What I see with Daddy.
Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.